Welcome to this video about personal pronouns. First of all, let me ask you, what do you think about this paragraph? Macy is a Form 1 student. Macy goes to school on foot. Macy likes watching television after school. What do you think about it? Another one. Nancy is a mother of 2. Nancy cooks yummy food for Keith and Kelly every day. Nancy sometimes teaches Keith and Kelly how to cook. Keith and Kelly love cooking. So, Nancy, Keith, and Kelly's home always smells good. What do you think about this paragraph? Do they sound weird? It keeps on repeating the names. Normally, we wouldn't speak or write in this way. How can we make it sound right? How about, Macy is a Form 1 student. She goes to school on foot. She likes watching television after school. Does it sound better? Nancy is a mother of 2. She cooks yummy food for Keith and Kelly every day. She sometimes teaches them how to cook. They love cooking, so their home always smells good. Does it look a lot better? It does, doesn't it? So when we don't want to keep on repeating names, we use personal pronouns. Personal pronouns are used to replace the nouns that we have talked about, so it makes your writing look more interesting. There are 2 types of personal pronouns. The first one is subject pronouns. The second one is object pronouns. Subject pronouns are used to replace the subject of a sentence. But what is a subject? A subject is the beer or the doer of the main verb. So it simply is the main verb, or it is doing the action. For example, Macy is a Form 1 student. Is the main verb. It is talking about Macy. So Macy is the subject of this sentence. Another example, Nancy cooks yummy food for Keith and Kelly. Cooks is the main verb. Who is doing this action? Nancy is. Nancy is doing this action of cooking. So Nancy is the subject of this sentence. So there are quite a few subject pronouns. Let's look into them one by one. Number 1, I. For example, I am a boy. Am is the main verb. It is talking about the subject, I. Another example, I wear a cap. Wear is the main verb here. It is an action verb. Who is doing this action? I is doing this action. So I is the subject of this sentence. Number 2, you. For example, you are my friend. Are is the main verb. It's talking about you, the subject. Another example, you play basketball with me. Play is an action verb. Who is doing this action? You are. You is the subject of this sentence. Number 3, if we want to talk about a male, we use he. For example, he is my brother. Is the main verb. He is the subject. Another example, he treats me well. Treats is the main verb. Who is doing this action? He is. He is the subject. Number 4, if you want to talk about a female, a girl, or a woman, you use she. For example, she is my sister. Is the main verb. She is the subject. Another example, she shares food with me. Shares is the main verb here. It is an action verb. Who is doing this action? She is. She is the subject. Number 5, if you want to talk about an animal, you use it. For example, it is my cat. Is the main verb. It is the subject. Another example, it eats a lot of fish. Eat is an action verb. Who does this action? It does. Eat is the subject. How about a school bag? You also use eat. For example, it is my school bag. Is the main verb. It is the subject. So, if you want to talk about a cat or a school bag, basically something that is not alive or an animal, you use it. Number 6, if you want to talk about a group of people, including yourself, you use we. For example, we are friends. Are the main verb. We is the subject. Another example, we dance together. Dance is an action verb. Who does this action? We. We is the subject. Number 7, if you want to talk about a group of people, not including yourself, you use they. For example, they are my students. Are is the main verb. They is the subject. Another example, they learn English with me. Learn is an action verb. Who learn English? Who does this action? They. They is the subject. Number 8. If you are talking to more than one person, you use you. For example, you are my lovely children. Are is the main verb. You is the subject. Another example, you share your toys with each other. Share is the main verb here. You is doing this action of sharing. So you is the subject. So for subject pronouns, we have I, you, he, she, and it. These are the singular subject pronouns. And we have we, they, you. These are plural subject pronouns. Now, let's talk about object pronouns. It is used to replace the object of a sentence. What is an object? It is a person or a thing on the receiving end of the action. So it receives the action. It is affected by the action. So it comes after the verb or preposition. For example, Nancy sometimes teaches Keith and Kelly how to cook. Teaches is the main verb. Nancy is the subject. But who does Nancy teach? She teaches Keith and Kelly. So Keith and Kelly, the whole thing, is an object. Another example. Nancy cooks yummy food for Keith and Kelly every day. Cooks is the main verb. Obviously, Nancy is doing this action of cooking. But what does Nancy cook? Nancy cooks yummy food. So yummy food is an object. Who is the food for? It's for Keith and Kelly. So Keith and Kelly is also an object. And it is after the preposition for. There are also quite a few object pronouns. Number 1, me. For example, you miss me. Miss is the main verb. Who do you miss? You miss me. So me is the object. It is affected. It is receiving this verb miss. Number 2, you. For example, I am talking to you. Am talking is an action. You is the object which receives this action, talking, and it is after the preposition to. Number 3, him, for a male. For example, I go shopping with him. Go shopping is the action here. Him is the receiving end of this action shopping. So him is the object, and it is after this preposition with. Number 4, her, for a female. For example, I buy a present for her. Buy is the main verb, is an action verb. Present is the receiving end of this action verb. So what do I buy? I buy a present. And what is this present for? It's for her. So her is the receiving end of this object, present. And it is after the preposition for. Number 5, it, for an animal. For example, I feed it with fish. Feed is the main verb. Who do I feed? I feed it. It is the object. It receives this action of feeding. Also, if you want to talk about something that is not alive, you use it. For example, I carry it to school. Carry is an action verb. What do I carry? I carry it. So it is the receiving end of this action, carrying. Number 6, if you're including yourself in a group of people, you use us. For example, Mommy takes us to Disneyland. Takes is the main verb. Mommy is the subject. Who does Mommy take? She takes us. So us is the object. It is the receiving end of this action, take. Number 7, them. For example, I teach them English. Teach is the main verb. Them is the object. It is receiving this action of teaching. Number 8, you. For example, I love you. Love is the main verb. Who do I love? Who is receiving my love? You are. So you is the object. Object pronouns include me, you, him, her, it. These are the singular object pronouns. Us, them, you are the plural object pronouns. This is the summary of personal pronouns. Here is an easier way to memorize all the subject pronouns and object pronouns. I, me, you, he, him, she, her, it, we, us, you, they, them. You can do it like a song. And remember, subject pronouns are normally placed before verb, while object pronouns are normally placed after verb or preposition. That's it. Bye-bye.